Do your patients know what presbyopia is?
There are people who are afraid of the press.
Have you talked to your patients about multifocal contact lenses?
I've heard the bifocal, but not multifocal.
Exactly, not multifocal.
Do you need help with your multifocal strategy? Learn more at the conclusion of this episode.
Your eyes and your vision are under attack. Damaging blue light from the sun, your phone, your computer, your tablet, even light bulbs and car headlights is constantly bombarding you. The good news is our eyes actually already have a line of defense to counter the effects of blue light. This defense is made up of 3 pigments called carotenoids. MacuHealth with Micromicelle, the only supplement with the exclusive patent on all 3 macular carotenoids and Micromicelle technology.
With more screen usage and indoor time, myopia, also known as nearsightedness, is increasing and getting worse in children. Now, certified eye doctors can prescribe MiSight One Day, the first and only FDA-approved soft contact lens to slow myopia progression in age-appropriate children. Visit CooperVision.com to find a Brilliant Futures certified eye doctor near you. The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information. Good morning, I'm Dr. Kerry Gelman. Welcome to Open Your Eyes Radio. Please listen as I discuss the newest information in the world of health, nutrition, and sports every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central Time on AM 1280 The Patriot. Also, please share your thoughts by emailing me at drkerrygelb@gmail.com. That's drkerrygelb@gmail.com. The drive and the skill to become a professional athlete are dreamt by many, but in reality, only a few are driven and skilled enough to beat the odds. Today's guests, USA Women's National Baseball World Cup star pitcher, Marti Sementelli, and the amazing Shelby Estocado. Shelby was also a professional female baseball player. Shelby's life dramatically changed February 23, 2020, when she suffered a freak snowboarding accident, causing a serious spinal cord injury which paralyzed her from the chest down. Shelby has gone beyond what a professional athlete can do and is now training harder than ever and competing at the highest level in adaptive sports. Today, we will learn her inspirational never give up story and what it takes to become a world-class athlete for both Shelby and Marti. Marti and Shelby, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Shelby, I want to start with you. Your story is so amazing. And before we get into the details of your story, what is in you that you're able to have such a positive attitude going through such a difficult injury?
Yeah, I have always been an athlete, and that competitive drive I've lived with since I was a kid. And after my accident, I told myself I just wanted to be happy and continue being an athlete. And if it wasn't for the High Fives Foundation and knowing that there's adaptive sports out there, I wouldn't have been where I'm at today. And I always tell everyone it's a mindset, and I want to be happy. I want to be an athlete still. And I wake up being in the moment, and I tell myself, what's your mindset? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be sad? Are you going to be depressed? And I just want to be happy. That's all. It's a mindset.
So what is adaptive sports?
Yeah, adaptive sports. There's a whole adaptive sport community. And if you guys know the Paralympics, those are pretty much all the adaptive sports you can think of. And any type of life-altering injury you have and any type of disability you have an opportunity to participate in adaptive sports. And that's just any equipment and any sport that you think of that you need modifications for, they have that. And I play sled hockey, I mountain bike, I surf, but with adaptive equipment because I'm paralyzed. So there's a whole community of that, and it's been amazing.
Marti, you're a professional athlete as well. Talk about the USA baseball team and the tournament that you're going to be in soon. You both played for Team USA for the women's baseball team. Tell us about that, because the public doesn't know much about it.
Yeah, so the national team has been, it started in 2004 was inaugural year. And if you imagine kind of like what the WBSC was, it's kind of what we do, but for women's baseball. We have all different countries competing for that gold medal. And it's pretty much the most unbelievable thing to be a part of, is playing for your country, representing your country, and being around the best teammates, all these women that have shared the same passion as you, that play the game of baseball around the country, and then all around the world. There's all these other women that love the game just as much as you do.
So you're a pitcher. You're the star pitcher on the team, Marty. How did you learn to pitch, and how did you get passionate about being a baseball pitcher rather than softball?
A baseball was always put into my hand at a very young age, before I could pretty much even walk. My dad loved baseball. He wanted me to get into the game of baseball. Just because I was a girl, it really didn't stop him from teaching me the game. So it's something that I enjoyed kind of in the house, as kind of like a hobby. And then it kind of snowballed into what it is today. Every day we would just practice, and little by little, it was like little league, and then high school and college, and the USA team. So it just kind of all came together. I just really fell in love with pitching, and that's pretty much what's taken me all over the world, and that's what I love.
And Shelby, you were on the team as well. You were the shortstop, and you were the star utility player.
Wherever they needed me.
So you also hit a lot of home runs. How did you learn to be a power hitter?
Yeah, growing up, I played baseball as well, and I did switch over to softball at that 12, 13 year age, and I played softball in high school. And when I heard about the USA national team, women's national baseball team, I was super stoked, and I had a couple of teammates from my college team also play for them. So that kind of brought me back to baseball, which I was super happy about. And that power, I was just in that 3-4 hole spot, and I did drills outside. It's always outside, what you want to do on your own. And I was in strength training since I was 12 or 13 years old, and until college. And then after college, it's just repetition, drills, all the little things that builds you up, your muscles as an athlete. I just kept doing that every single day outside of practice on my own. And I wanted to be a power hitter, and that's what I was.
Did you hit any home runs for the USA baseball team?
Gosh, when that field gets bigger, I struggle a little bit, but I can hit it far. But we only had, I'd say, 4 or 5 of us girls. I don't know, Marty, you think?
Yeah,
Nice.
when you rarely you see a home run, but Shelby hits the ball hard and far, and she was like lightning fast on the bases.
That was I could stretch those bases far. Like, I can push it to a triple if I wanted to, just hitting it right in the outfield. And speed was a game changer for me too. Growing up, I could power hit, I can lay down a bunt, and I can beat you out. That's what I said. I was like, I'm gonna beat this girl out no matter what.
And
And no one ever expected that. When Shelby would run, we would be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so fast."
how tall are you?
5'8".
5'8". So what kind of drills did you do to become a power hitter? Were there any specific drills they used to practice?
Yeah, I mean, you have, gosh, there's so many. It takes, like, even with swinging the weighted balls and stuff, that all comes into play. But your strength training and those dumbbells, those powerlifting drills, because you're definitely working different groups of muscles, and your fast twitch, slow twitch muscles, everything comes together. But I had personal trainers that would coach me in that category. So I go to my hitting coach, I go to my strength coach, and like they collaborate on my drills, so they'd make the best athlete out of me. So it just takes finding the right coaches and them investing in you and your abilities. And I told them what I wanted to do, and my parents were athletes, and I have an athletic career. Like, all my whole life I've been an athlete, so that helps a lot too. But it takes more than just swinging the bat. You have to dive into drills and small little details, repetition, like every single day.
And Marty, what kind of drills did you do to strengthen you as a pitcher? And how tall are you?
I'm 5'2.5". Don't forget the half.
Where's
My
on
dad,
team?
yeah, shortest on the team, but that doesn't stop me from being successful on the mound. It was kind of the opposite of what Shelby was kind of doing, not really looking for as like a power, but more of just staying within myself and doing like little dumbbell work, small weights, just to make sure that my arm was in the best care, band work. The worst thing for a pitcher to have is to just be injured. So just making sure I was healthy.
And did you ever get hurt? Did you ever have an arm injury?
Not when I was growing up. No, it's a little harder these days, but I never, never did when I was a kid or into my 20s or mid 20s.
And do you do long toss to get your arm strength better to try to throw faster?
Yeah, some days are long toss days, some days are short, and then mixing in with the bullpens. So I'm not doing the same thing every day. Gaining that strength with my arm through long toss definitely does help.
And you throw every day?
I try to. It's a lot harder now, but that has been my method for a really long time. I try to do it as much as the weather allows me now in my job. So I do the best I can these days.
Shelby was in a very unusual snowboarding accident. So, Shelby, if you could share that story.
Yeah, February 23rd of 2020. So it's been 3 years and a couple months. I had a snowboarding accident at Lee Canyon in my hometown of Las Vegas, and I was on my last run and pretty much went on a jump, went off, and right when I went off, I lost control and I could not regain my balance. I remember the whole thing, and it was a big jump. I'm not sure how high, but it was super high, and I landed straight on my back, and I really wasn't sure what happened, but my half of my body felt numb and I didn't really know what to expect, and I tried to move and I couldn't move at all, and um they helicopter airlifted me out from the mountain, and I had two surgeries right away, and I had ORIF on my sternum, so I have a plate on my whole chest, and then I am fused from my spine from T4 to T8. And so they go two above my injury and two below. So I'm a T6 spinal cord injury. But so yeah, now I'm paralyzed from the chest down, and I continued doing rehab in Colorado after my accident, and I learned how to get around my own home, and my family, they also had to learn uh, being a spinal cord injury, just how I go about my day. And my mom, she's a physical therapist, so that helped a lot because she knew a lot of that side of things, and she was a big advocate for me when I was in the hospital. But it was tough though, being injured during COVID. But Marty, she was actually there right when I got injured in the hospital, like probably the first 2 days, first day, I don't remember, but after surgery, she was like right there by my bedside, and I was like, oh my gosh. So she's just amazing. Like, she's my best friend, and no, I really appreciate your being there for me because it was definitely a life-changing injury, and I did not know what was going to happen, and it was nice to have my family and my best friend there. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Marty,
as soon as I
you
heard the
got you
news,
you
like
Marty,
it was
you got the
crazy.
call when you were making a movie. The kid who only hit home runs.
Yeah, the kid that hit only hit runs. I was in Orlando, Florida. At the time we were wrapping up the movie. It was like the last day or the second to last day or last day when I found out from Shelby's mom. Nancy gave me a call, which is probably the scariest call I'll ever get in my life. But she told me very briefly kind of what happened, and it was a serious injury. And as soon as that phone call happened, I just made it apparent that I needed to get out there as soon as possible, and get me on a plane to Vegas. We weren't really sure if she was going to be in Colorado or Vegas at the time, so we were going back and forth with that. But I just wanted to make sure that I was there right beside her and that everything would be okay.
So Shelby, when you were laying on the ground after the injury, what was going through your head?
I immediately was like, I need to go to the hospital. I need to go to the hospital. Like, I wasn't breathing and I was taking short breaths, and I didn't realize my sternum was also cracked in half. So that was a major problem and kind of did not help me breathe. And it took 3 ski patrols because, the first one comes, you don't realize how severe it is. The second one comes and then is like, has some gear. And then the third one comes and has all the gear to take me down finally. So what was tough is that at the mountain, it's about, I don't know, 18 miles up. So they had to drive me down in an ambulance to pick me up in the helicopter because they couldn't land on the mountain. So that was tough. I just I still didn't know I had a spinal cord injury, but everything was just numb, and I just didn't know what was going to happen. And I was like, straight away, bring me to the hospital. I kept whispering it. I need to go to the hospital. I need to go to the hospital. That was first thing.
So, for people that don't know, it's the neck is the cervical spine, and then there's the thoracic, which is the mid back, which is where you had your injury, and then the lumbar is below the mid back, and then the sacral part, the spine. So you were in the mid back in the thoracic, and that typically will affect the from the chest down, depending on which part of the thoracic is damaged. What kind of care did the ski patrols give you, and did they seem like they knew what they were doing, and
Yeah.
how was it with the ski patrols?
Yeah, they were definitely on top of everything, and they made sure they stabilized my neck because obviously you don't know where my break is. So they stabilized everything, and they had to I had my snowboard on and my boots. So they literally had to unclip that, but they were super careful with transferring me over, and they skied me down and everything. And I remember I had to check in with the lady because I was like closing my eyes, but she was like, give me a thumbs up every time I say your name as they're skiing me down. So like, Shelby, and I'd like lift my thumb up. Shelby, you good? And I like lift my thumb up because they didn't want me to fall asleep. But yeah, they were really quick with everything. And today they take care of me so well too. They check in with me. That Lee Canyon, that whole family up there, they still keep in touch with me. And anytime I was just skiing over there a couple weeks ago, actually on a Friday. And after my accident, there's always room for education. So like we re-educated, like the ski patrol, they practice all that stuff every day. I see them on the mountain every day, making sure like they know like what to do, the protocol, what to do here. So their timing is because crucial in that moment. So they did really well.
So here you are, you're flying in a helicopter to the hospital. Have you ever been in a helicopter before?
I've been on a helicopter, but not like that.
And what was that ride like?
Yeah, I just it was quick. I remember my mom, she's at Sunrise Hospital in Vegas, and they're a big hospital, and I wanted to go there. I remember telling them that, but since they have a contract with UMC, University Medical Center, they sent me there, and they're super close to each other, but the doctors and the surgeons I had that day, I was really happy I went there because they are one of the top neurosurgeons. He did surgery on me and my scars. Everyone talks about how perfect my scars are and just what an amazing job he did. And I remember saying I was in so much pain, and they kept just giving me a lot of medication to help with that. But I remember I wanted to get off my back so bad because it felt like something was just a rock. I was laying on a huge boulder. Like it felt like it was just piercing my back, and I wanted to just be on something soft, but they couldn't. I had to be on the stretcher, and like then they had to transfer me over, and my body would not stop shaking. I was just like constantly shaking just because your body's in shock. It's like, what the heck just happened? And but yeah, they were there for me, the medic team, everyone took great care of me. And another thing I didn't mention was my parents were on a flight from Texas, so they got the call when they were traveling, which was really hard to hear, especially all the way from Texas. So,
And Marty, what are you thinking at this point? Your best friend is injured, and to go visit her, what are you thinking?
I mean, Nancy did call me from the airport because she was in Texas, and she told me very quickly. It was so fast because she was boarding her flight, and I just I didn't know how to process it all. I stayed up that entire night, waiting for a text from Nancy, making sure that the surgery went well because I didn't know what was going to happen. It was very frightening. But to wake up the next morning knowing that she was well and she was going to be okay. That's all that mattered.
And you also broke your sternum, and the sternum is in three parts. Is made up of three parts. Was the whole sternum broken, or just one part of it?
Yeah, two parts. Like in the very like the middle, it was a complete clean break, and it was puncture. It was like just putting pressure on my lungs and just all that inside of the ribs. And then the bottom tail part, like at the end, that was broken as well. But the doctors, the surgeons, they were just like, I have never seen a break like that, and I don't know how you did that, but I was super high, and just the impact, just everything folding, just crushed it. And they had to get a couple people in there to pull it back up so it stabilized it. It's crazy how they explained it.
And you eventually went to Craig. Can
Yes.
you explain about Craig a little bit for
Yeah.
people out there that might be listening?
Yeah, and Craig Hospital, they're one of the top spinal cord injury and traumatic brain injury rehabilitation centers in the whole country. And a lot of athletes and people with life-altering injuries like spinal cord injuries and TBIs, they will get pushed to get sent there because they literally just focus on that. They don't focus on anything else except those spinal cord injuries and TBIs. So my mom, her being in the medical field and at Sunrise, she knew about Craig, and she pushes her patients to go to Craig. And so now I'm here, and she's like, we got to get you to Craig. And there's also University of Utah. They have their newly developed rehab place for spinal cord injuries. And they just don't have a foundation like Craig does, but they are really good as well. And at Craig, they come and they fly out to wherever you are, they do an evaluation, and they have to see you're able to withstand like 6+ hours of rehab. So once you show them that and they see that and you're like motivated, you can't just go to Craig and not want to work to, I don't know, be independent again, because that's what my goal was. So they just have to see your drive and your willingness you're ready to be there. And so I was approved, and they flew me out on a jet straight over to Colorado from Vegas. And yeah, it was 4 of us or 5 of us on the plane. Yeah.
So when we get back from the break, I need to ask you how the accident actually happened, when you were skiing and when you were snowboarding, and what happened about the jump that you took, to go into some details. I'm talking with Marti Sementelli and Shelby Estocado, professional women's baseball players. And this is Dr. Kerry Gelb for Open Your Eyes Radio on AM 1280, The Patriot.
MacuHealth, your science-born and tested solutions for visual performance, macular degeneration, and dry eye syndrome. New products coming soon. Embrace the science.
The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information. This is Dr. Kerry Gelb, back with AM 1280 The Patriot with Marti Sementelli and Shelby Estocado. And before the break, we were talking about Shelby's accident. So tell us exactly what happened in the accident, what you were doing when the accident happened.
Yeah. So right before, it was the last run of the day, and I ran into some friends up at the lodge at Lee Canyon. And not many people know this. I was leaving. It was 2:30, and I was getting ready to leave, and I ran into some friends and from my company, Stryker, and we all wanted to do a run together because I hadn't seen them in a while. So I was like, yeah, let's go out for a run. And this is my very last run. So there's 2 jumps up at the top right now, and I went on the second jump and I was just cruising and trying and going. And, you know, when you just relax and you're just cruising and just doing whatever, I was not like being athletic with it. And when I went off, right when I went off, I pretty much slipped back, kind of like you slip on a banana peel in those cartoons. And I landed right on my back, and I pretty much folded the weight of my snowboard and boots, folded at the top of my head. So I was like sandwiched in half and like a reverse scorpion, basically. And I just slid down the rest of the mountain. And I remember looking up, and I thought my snowboard was straight and my feet were faced up, but my knees were like this way and my snowboard was, it was just complete opposite of what I pictured in my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot feel anything. Like my direction and proprioception of where my body was at was completely off. And I knew it was really bad from there.
And was that is that a black diamond? What level of
No, it's a blue. I mean, just it was just in the park where you go in the park area, and the terrain was just, yeah, it was a blue course. It was just, the jump was pretty big. I probably shouldn't have pushed it that much, but I did.
you know, it's always the last run of the day, right?
Yep, that's why, yeah, people are always careful with that.
So do you also ski? I mean, before the accident, did you regular ski or just snowboarded?
Nope, just snowboarded. That was it. And I still have my snowboard.
So Marty, you're from New England. Are you a skier?
No, my dad was pretty strict on what I was able to do for a baseball standpoint of things. So I never was really involved in any of the snow activities. I snowboarded one time, like after college, and I was just awful at it. So I just stopped doing it, and never tried again.
So Marty, what are the best baseball team, female baseball teams? Which countries are the best?
I mean, Japan's always amazing. They've won the last bunch of them actually since I've been part of the team since 2008. So they're always really good competitors, along with Chinese Taipei has been up and coming the last few World Cups. They're really up there as well. And then you got Australia and Canada, which is pretty much where we're all kind of on the even playing field. So yeah, it's really good competition, but I would say those countries are at the top.
So everybody wants to know, how fast does a female pitcher throw?
I would say, I mean, Shelby probably can agree with this, but it's mainly in the mid 70s. And occasionally you'll get like upper 70s, people touching 80, but that's right about in that zone right there, mid 70s.
And when you're pitching, you know, when you watch like female golfers, you know, professional golfers, it's almost like they have better form than the male golfers. You know, the men a lot of times are using brute strength, where the females, you know, they perfect their art so well that you watch their swing. It's just really like poetry in motion. When it comes to pitching, learning to pitch, I know you read Leo Mazzoni's book and you learned a lot from him. Talk about your mindset as you're pitching, and what you're thinking about how to get the batter out.
The biggest thing is trying not to think too much. So basically, kind of clearing your mind and just forgetting about that batter. To me, it's just focusing on my catcher, which is usually Anna Kimbrough, she's an amazing catcher. So she tells me what pitch I'm throwing, and we just go from there. I try not to look too much into it. When that happens, my everything gets more, nerves kind of come in, shortness of breath. So I just try to clear my mind.
And how many different pitches do you throw?
I've just fastball, palm ball, slider, changeup. So that's where I'm at right now. I used to have like 8 pitches when I was younger, but I pretty much made it more simple now, especially for my catchers.
And do you get to hit, or do they DH for you?
Heck yeah.
I in
It's
tournaments
awesome.
sometimes I get to hit. Shelby and everyone love it on the bench. But for USA, it's kind of, just a DH position for me. But last summer in Canada, we had a weird thing where the pitchers had to hit from themselves, and my coach came up to me and was like, "You got to be ready to hit for yourself." And since 2008, I've never had a hit for myself for USA, and I battled through and I got myself a walk. So I'm doing pretty well.
Did you foul any off?
I did. It was to right field, and everyone went crazy when I fouled it off.
So Shelby, when you went through rehab, talk to us. You're a professional athlete, and they're evaluating you at Craig to see if you're if you're worthy kind of to be there, if you're going to work hard enough. I mean, who's going to work harder than you?
It was so funny with when you have your PTs and your OT, all the staff that like works with you. I enjoyed it so much, and there was a point because I was only there for 6 weeks, and that was super short compared to a lot of other people. But there's just a point where you just plateau, and you just that's all they can give you. Because I'm like, all right, throw the ropes in while I go on this. Can you give me some dumbbells while I hop on this machine? Can you give me like a weight med ball and I'll do that while I do this? So we were trying to like put everything in because I was already mastering and crushing all these other things. They're like, what else can we make her do? And it was funny. And they don't go by the book with everyone. If they saw me and they knew I was an athlete, they're like, sweet, like we get to push it to the next level, and let's try this that we never done with most of our patients, and let's see if Shelby can do this. So that was fun for me, and I still keep in touch with them today, and it means a lot when they don't go by the book and they just know you're an athlete and they work you like an athlete still, and they're not scared. Like, even though I'm paralyzed, they're not, yeah, they're careful, but they're not overly like, oh my gosh, like, let's be careful. No, they like to push me, and I told them like, let's do it.
And I understand that when you were injured, they diagnosed you with partial. And so is there a chance that you may be able to walk again?
Yeah, there is a chance. I mean, I feel like everyone has a chance with all the technology and people coming out with new studies. And I know a bunch of universities, they're doing a bunch of studies. And this year I was going to look into that. I know Stanford, a lot of California schools have these different eSTEM and all these, I don't know, other stuff that they want to do work with spinal cord injuries on. And there is a chance, and you have the complete injuries and you have incomplete spinal cord injuries. So complete, you completely severed your cord. Incomplete, so I just had a really bad contusion, kind of like a really bad bruise on my spinal cord. So I was diagnosed as an incomplete Asia B. So I have sensation all the way down to my toes, just touch. I can't feel temperature or pain, but I can feel when people touch my legs. So that was something I gained back, and there's things slowly I'm noticing, no movement quite yet, but it's been only 3 years, and anything could happen 5 years, 10 years down the road. You just have to make sure I do CrossFit, I do a bunch of sports, I told you, and my mind doesn't forget I have legs still, even though I can't use them. So that's just super important, just doing those, staying active and all that stuff. But there is a chance. So I'm always keeping hope up for that.
So the new research that's coming out as far as maybe nutrition, stem cells, what have you kept up with it? And if you have, what looks like will be helpful and hopeful in the future?
Yeah, eSTEM is a big one that, because with the United States and just what you can do with stem cells, that is something I looked into. And I've seen a lot of people invest in that, and it has worked. So that's something I am still considering. But eSTEM right now, and just where they place the stimulation on your body and where your break is. Um, my friend who's a quad, so that's like no hand function, and I never saw him stand before ever. And after he did the study, I forget how many weeks it was, but I saw him over the fall last year in October, and we were mountain biking together, and he comes out of his car and he like stands up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're standing. I was like, that's crazy. And he told me about the study he did, but that's something, yeah, different people have different studies going on, and you have to be a certain amount of years outside post your accident. So e-stim is a big one that I want to look into, because there's different things. People either put it inside, and people put it on dry needling and put it in certain spots on your spine. Like, there's so many things with e-stim you can do, but that's what I'm looking into.
So Marty and Shelby are both professional female baseball players. Marty, there's now female baseball coaches, professional in the major leagues, I believe. Is that something that you would consider someday?
I don't know. Kind of undecided at this point. I'm still just gonna try to play as long that I can. But it's really cool to see like people that we know and that have played with us and out there breaking barriers. It's really cool knowing that women can be a part of baseball and it's being accepted throughout the country and throughout the world. It's a really amazing thing to see that things are changing, and there'll be a lot more women coaches out there.
What do you think, Marty, about the new MLB rules in baseball?
So I do have a job with MLB, so they really do affect my current position. So, um, it's just trying to make the pace of the game quicker. It's a lot different when you're watching a game. But it's also different for pitchers. It depends on what position that you're playing. And a position player could be used to playing a shift all the time, and they got to get used to not playing in that shift. So it's definitely an interesting year to try to see what they'll do going forward. I guess I'm kind of in the middle at this point because I play baseball and I work with baseball, so I kind of try to be in the middle with it. But I am interested to see after this season where people's opinions are, and see if they want to continue with these rules or if they change them.
And how about the female baseball rules? Are they the same as the MLB, or are they the old rules?
They're the same. Nothing has changed. I mean, I don't know if Shelby, you can think of anything besides us playing like 7 innings that instead of 9. It's pretty much the
I
same.
mean, but can you shift, or you don't? You can't shift like MLB.
We can do whatever we want.
Okay,
There's
so
no
My
restrictions.
opinion, yeah, it just gets like too technical, like whenever the shift and all the stats coming in, which is good, but like when the game is just play the game, just play the baseball game, and it just gets so technical when you do every little detail with the stats. But it's an interesting thing, like Marty said, to look at, and we'll see where it goes. But I think it's cool just to play in your position and go get the ball.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how many hits get this year compared to last year with the no shift and everything like that. And also, it just seems like more home runs are being hit this year as well for some crazy reason.
I know.
it's so Marty, as a pitcher, what do you think only being able to throw over 2 times?
I think I don't really like it for a pitcher because the third time is basically like a free base, and there's a lot more stealing of bases this year. I don't like the restrictions on that for a pitcher, but maybe a position player wouldn't care as much.
And Shelby, I want to get back to high fives. If you could tell us about that.
Yeah, high fives. They were the first people that reached out to me when I was at Craig, and a group of us over there. I was the only girl, but high fives was started by Roy Tuscany and in 14 years ago, and he had a spinal cord injury and he's walking again, and he had a skiing accident, and after that he wanted to start the High Fives Foundation, and that started in Vermont, and he brought it over to Truckee, California, and that's why I moved up to Reno to be closer to High Fives. And he his wife Elena Nichols, she's a 6-time Paralympic medalist, 3-time gold medalist, first female to place gold in summer and winter. So she was one of my big mentors, and she hopped on the phone right away after I was done talking with Roy, and he gave his spiel on like who High Fives was and what they represent, and they help people with life-altering injuries get back to the outdoors. And that's they have adaptive equipment like grants to apply for. So I have a mountain bike, I have a surfboard coming in a couple months. I got a new wheelchair because of them, and I do CrossFit too, and they've helped me get a lot of adaptive equipment for that. But anybody with a life altering injury, whether even in the military, and he opens it up to those people that want to get back to the outdoors and be happy again. And it's pretty amazing what they've done, and the amount of sponsors and donors we've gained over the past few years since I've been a part of them. It's amazing. And like Marty and my friends from baseball and everyone that's met them, they pass the word and the word gets around, and it's like, oh, who's high fives? Oh, they're high fives. I want to donate and all this stuff. So it's pretty cool to see them grow since my accident.
And high fives, like everyone's so cool. Like her whole crew, everyone that runs it, I've met them a few times. They're just the best people, so generous, and they welcome everybody to the family.
Talk a little bit about your mentor, Anna Nichols.
Yeah, so Elena, she had a spinal cord injury when she was 17, and she played softball growing up, and she was being recruited to LSU, like top schools. And she just turned 40, so she's been injured way longer than I have. But she was the first like female I was able to look up to and kind of learn from, and tips and tricks on what she does in her chair to get around. And they have a baby Gunner, he's 3, and I also want to have kids someday. So it's just cool to see her from athlete and still being an athlete to motherhood. And she still competes. She competes in surfing, adaptive surfing. There's a big oceanside competition in San Diego coming up in September, and a couple others. But she has taught me so many things, especially with the daily routines and how to wheel around this, where to go for this, she's connected me with Danielle Umstead. She's a blind skier in the Paralympics, and she started Sisters in Sports Foundation, and that's how I got to National Ability Center, to where I ski race now. So all these connections and the amazing people I've met since my accident, it's just been up from there. It's amazing.
And how did Elena get hurt? How did she get injured?
She also went off the jump. She tried to do a backflip, actually snowboarding, and that's how she suffered her spinal cord injury. She's lower than me, but yeah, she did the same thing, snowboarding accident.
And so there's camping, there's hockey, there's mountain biking, basketball, CrossFit, skiing, surfing, adaptive skiing that High Five helps people with. And you've participated in almost all of those, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. The only one I haven't done yet is fly fishing and motocross.
I think you can do it.
I'm ready to hop on. They have everything that you can think of.
So you have 2 brothers.
Yes.
Who was the best athlete in the family?
Me.
I'm
not lying. I literally, they're not like, we grew up playing baseball together. Like my older brother and I were close in age, but I was the only one that stuck with sports, and my little brother did throughout high school. He was a big lacrosse player and he was good, but I just soaked it all up genetically and just took it all from my parents.
And who's the athlete, your mother or your father?
Oh my gosh, but I would say, sorry, Dad, Mom is, because she white lettered in college. I mean, in high school, and she was a golfer, track. She did the discus, and she played basketball. That was her big thing. And then she tore her ACL in college, but that's when she took the medical PT route after that, because her career was pretty much done. But yeah, my dad was fast though, so I got the speed from him, not my mom.
Well, this is Dr. Kerry Gelb for Open Your Eyes Radio. As we're finishing up this segment, I'm speaking with Marti Sementelli and Shelby Estocado. We're here on AM 1280, The Patriot. Shelby, Marty, people want to find out more about you, and that there's a way that people could donate to kind of help pay for your medical bills. Can you talk about that as we fit up in the last 36 seconds?
Yeah, there's a few places to donate, and I would say just High Fives. They have their donation page, and I have a page created as well. So you can donate to that specific athlete, or you can donate to High Fives as a whole. And that's one of the main ones. But I would appreciate it if people would look into the National Ability Center, Achieve Tahoe. They're the first ones who taught me how to ski. There's all these nonprofit foundations that have been a part of my life that I like.
We'll be back next week with Marty and Shelby. Thank you for listening to Open Your Eyes Radio with Dr. Kerry Gill. The All Eyes Visual VRP is a portable vision testing platform that includes visual fields, acuity, color vision testing, pupillometry, and extraocular motility. The visual leverages virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and augmented technologies to enable eye care providers to test for and monitor common eye diseases. Visit alleyes.com for more information.
Your eyes and your vision are under attack. Damaging blue light from the sun, your phone, your computer, your tablet, even light bulbs and car headlights is constantly bombarding you. The good news is our eyes actually already have a line of defense to counter the effects of blue light. This defense is made up of 3 pigments called carotenoids. MacuHealth with Micromicelle, the only supplement with the exclusive patent on all 3 macular carotenoids and Micromicelle technology.
Fitting multifocal contact lenses presents a big opportunity to meet patient needs while growing your practice. Alcon is your partner not only with our innovative portfolio, but through e-learning. Learn to enhance your multifocal strategy today with the Alcon Experience Academy.
OIE Broadcasting is the emerging leader in social media. We use scientific entertainment to drive more patients into your office. Visit OIEBroadcasting.com and sign up today.